Friends, thank you for listening. This is the Frederick Henry Show, and I'm Frederick Henry. And right now I'm at the airport. And I'm looking around at the lack of people here, and also at all the masks, all the different masks, face masks of all kinds and face shields of all kinds. New machinery at the TSA to scan your material. Everything went very well. I'm not upset or angry. I just want to observe, only about 8 months, was it February, 8 months ago or so, people weren't wearing a mask. And then a whole group of people started saying the science. And we had Fauci, supposed expert saying, well, a mask makes you feel good, but it doesn't do any good. Anyway, other people saying, no, the mask. Let's just ask a question of each other. Do you really think that a submicroscopic, this is a protein, this is it's not a living thing, it's a virus. Viruses are not living. They attach themselves to living things and they become living. Do you really think that something that can be seen only with an electron microscope, not an ordinary microscope that you might have in your bedroom or your closet, but can be seen only by an electron microscope, can be stopped by a paper mask? It's not stopped by a paper mask. It's silly. And I know all the illustrations, it's not droplet infection. Droplet infection has to do with other diseases, like whatever. It doesn't make any, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a person. So people are saying droplet infection. Well, I have eyeglasses. I wear the very best 3-layered mask they make in America, and every time I breathe, my eyeglasses get fogged, which is to say that my eyeglasses are, the breath is coming through the mask and fogging my eyeglasses, which is to say that my breath escapes. And I'm sure this submicroscopic particle called a virus, which can only be seen with an electron microscope, passes through the mask and fogs up my glasses, and maybe even bounces off my glasses and puts it into my eyeballs and infects me. So now, I listen, I just saw a dog with a mask on. I really did. I just saw a dog pass me by. The person has the dog with a mask on. So even dogs are wearing masks at this airport. Do we think that the dog has the virus and therefore the dog is going to pass the virus to us? You see what I'm saying? Do we do the same thing for the common cold? Now let's look at that question. The coronavirus, the novel, the new coronavirus, is a rhinovirus. What is a rhinovirus? Well, I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you from my studies and research, a rhinovirus is a cold virus, just like the common cold. The common cold has been around for multi-millennia, 5,000-6,000 years. It has never been conquered. It will never be conquered. So now we have this rhinovirus called the COVID-19, which we think we're wearing a mask. Well, when we wear a mask and we have a cold, does that stop the cold? No. When we wear a mask and we have the bubonic plague, does that stop the bubonic plague? No. When we wear a mask and we have smallpox, does that stop the smallpox? No. When we wear a mask and we have pneumonia, does that stop the pneumonia? No. So the wearing of the mask, there's plenty of evidence. Now, I'm not going to say the science, because I don't believe that word, the science. The science. That's a code word. That's a code system for suppression and repression and domination. But science, not the science, but science does research. And science never accepts the absolute. Science always questions the absolute. You say, absolutely, this is true. And science says, oh, really? Let's research that, and research that, and research that, and research it. So the research is coming out constantly and persistently saying that no, the mask does nothing at all. Nothing at all. You're better off with the 6-foot distancing than with the mask. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I just wanted to get that piece out. Now, when I went to the TSA, I have to give the TSA people a lot of credit. They're wonderful people. They work hard. Right now in this airport, the Cincinnati airport, they have new equipment. It's wonderful equipment. I'm so glad they have it. Thank you for the Trump administration for making sure they have it. Thank you for the Republicans in Congress and elsewhere making sure they have it, and the Democrats. And I'm very concerned today about another matter, and it's about the election fraud. It's not about Donald Trump, my friends. It's about you. I voted, and some people want to steal my vote. I voted for Donald Trump. Some people want to steal my vote. Some people want to fill out all kinds of paper ballots on the part of dead people. 40,000 people want to fill out paper ballots in Nevada who don't even live in Nevada because of the laxness of the process of signature verification. Georgia, Wisconsin, and the like more. Now, the legislatures don't need the courts. The legislatures can make the decision about the electors. That's what the founders said. If you think there's fraud, if you think there's a foul play, if you think this is wrong, then let the legislatures, the people's elected representatives, not appointed representatives, but the people's elected representatives, let them put on their big boy pants and their big girl skirts and make a hard decision to have another election, to have a redo, or to award stolen ballots to a person from one to the other. The disappointment is that our legislators, and the people involved with the administration of the laws are all being cowardly, saying, well, the press, the news, the AP, the CNN, the MSNBC, the NBC, all these people have declared. They're not the government. They're news organizations, and we know they lie all the time, so why even bother with such a thing? But that's what we're seeing today. And why am I upset about it? Because it's my vote, it's my future, it's my nation, it's my country. I voted for Donald J. Trump, and I want Donald J. Trump to win. Now, if you can prove to me that he did not win without cheating, fine. But we have ample evidence, a huge amount of evidence, that cheating is the only reason why Biden, Vice President Biden, I'll give him his credit, he deserves that. He used to be a vice president. But now he's senile. He can barely speak. He can barely walk. He is not competent to handle the nuclear red button. Who's going to rule the country? Is it going to be Jill? Is it going to be Kamala? Who is it going to be? So, folks, please, let's get real. This is a very dangerous thing. Now, I'm looking at all the people that are going to different places. They're going to Arizona. They're going to New Jersey. They're going to Albuquerque. I'm looking around. They're going on various sundry planes. There's a whole tour group passing by right now. And God bless them. I mean, this airport is about probably 1/20th capacity. I've been in this airport many, many times. It's about 1/20th capacity. Now, is that easy for me? Yes. Do I get through TSA quickly? Yes. Does it mean I don't have so much hassle? Yes. Does it mean it's easier to do everything? Yes. But what does that mean for the economy? What does that mean for the American people? What does it mean for freedom? What does that mean for anything? We have to deal with this issue. It's a very important issue. And resisting it or saying, oh, it will be okay. Yes, the system is based upon trust. The American system is based upon trust, that we trust fellow citizens. But the evidence is mounting daily that fellow citizens willingly abrogated our rights, took away our rights, removed our rights, and refused citizen voters to have the rights, and now will enslave us, whether it's through a mask or through distancing, or as the Los Angeles mayor says, I will lock you up in your houses and you will stay there forever. I will lock you up in your houses and you will stay there forever. Get used to it. Well, I'm not used to it, folks. This is America. And I remember January of 2020 and February 2020. This didn't exist. Because we're good people, because we're law-abiding people, because we're considerate people, because we're trusting people, we believe that the government is doing this in our best interest. However, I really believe, and I state this to you, I believe there's good reason to think that is not the case, that many, many government officials, governors, mayors, and others are using this pandemic and the fear of death to enslave us, to imprison us, and to have their way with us. And this is always a problem. This is what our forefathers fought against. This is what the Civil War fought against. This is what the War of 1812 fought against. This is what the First and Second World War fought against Nazism, against communism, and the Korean War and the Vietnam War, against tyranny and suppression and dictatorship. And we haven't had that here. Vietnam had it. Germany had it. Russia had it, and they are fighting like the Dickens to keep their freedom. But the Americans have always fought to free other people, but we've never been enslaved before. Now we're about to be enslaved, and I want to suggest to you that the answer to this enslavement is to resist, and to make sure that these false ballots, this phony election, this fraud, is stopped now. Because once it's allowed to happen, even it's not Biden. It doesn't matter about Biden. It doesn't matter about Harris. It matters about the process, about the fact that fellow American citizens were willing and willingly acted to defraud us and to delegitimize our votes and to take away our freedom and to enslave us for their own personal, social, political, economic, and other interests. And we can't allow that, because once it happens, it will never be undone. I promise you, not for 50 years, if even 100 years. It's there, it will be there, because the rest of us will be passive and obedient. And that is a big mistake, my friends, a very big mistake. Okay, I have to get on my plane in a few minutes, so I just heard the message. Yes, I have a mask on. Yes, I'm 6 feet apart. Yes, but when I get on the plane, I'm going to be sitting next to a person, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, knee to knee. And then they're going to give me a lecture about wearing the mask. However, when I get on the plane, they'll say, well, you can pull the mask down to have a drink of water or a drink of soda or whatever you're going to drink. And then you have to put the mask back up. But you'll sit for 2 hours or 2.5 hours next to a person with a mask on, knee to knee, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. And then at the end of it, they'll say, well, because of 6 feet distancing, we'll get off the plane according to 6 feet distancing. So rows 1 through 5, 6 through 10, etc., and please keep 6 feet apart. What happened? We landed, and suddenly we have to keep 6 feet apart. When 2 hours in the air, we wore a mask, but we were seated knee to knee, hip to hip, shoulder, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, please, we were about 8 inches apart, if even that. So it's false. It's all false. And we have to grab onto that, folks. Grab onto that. Either demand that everybody be 6 feet apart on the plane during the flight, or stop this silliness. And I think real science, research science, evidentiary science that is not politicized will tell you that this is the reality. Being 6 feet apart or wearing a mask does not prevent the spread of the coronavirus. If a person on the plane has the coronavirus and is breathing through the mask, that person will infect the entire plane, or at least the people in the immediate vicinity, because the virus is electron microscope level. It can pass through 18 layers of mask. You could wear 18 masks. You won't be able to breathe through the 18 layers of mask, but the virus will pass through all of those masks. Believe me, that's what will happen. Okay, this is Frederick Henry. I've had my bit at the airport here. I'm about to get on the plane. I want to thank you for listening. I'll try to do more of these on a daily basis. Listen, if you have a like button on your listening to this, please like this program. If you can have following this program, please follow it. I'm trying to build up a listenership, because that's the only way this particular message can get out. If you like the message, like it. If you believe that I have a message that is meaningful to the people, then please subscribe. I'm not going to send you for money. I'm not going to ask for your email address. I'm not going to ask for anything. Just support this program. And in that way, you support a fellow citizen who's doing his best, as best he can, to help in the situation that we're confronted with today. Thank you very much. I'm Frederick Henry, and you're listening to the Frederick Henry Podcast.